Thank you, Chair. I do welcome the legislation. It is an important bill. Many elements in it are necessary, particularly in the areas of fraud and control, recovery of overpayments, entitlement to family income supplement, and Deputy Byrne before me spoke very eloquently on that and why it's important and why it's a necessary measure. Extending social insurance cover and the area of pensions, and it's those last two areas I'd like to focus my brief contribution on, the area of pensions and on extending social insurance cover. Extending social insurance cover to assist spouses and civil partners of self-employed contributors is very welcome. I mean, we talk about widening the effects of the economic recovery that's now underway, widening the national effects into the towns and villages throughout the country. And we talk about the need to grow the domestic economy. And we can only do that by incentivising new businesses and incentivising and helping small businesses that are struggling to stay where they are or even to grow in some circumstances. Because small businesses, as we know, are net job creators in the domestic economy. As opposed to the larger companies that come in, they provide welcome employment, they provide a welcome financial stimulus, but it's the small businesses that actually create jobs, create them in our localities and in our communities around the country. And it's self-employed people then, as a result, who are the lifeblood of the economy. And it's only right that the social protection net be there for self-employed people and their partners equally, as it is for employed people. In fact, maybe we shouldn't be seeking strict equality in this regard, because the financial risks for the self-employed person are so much greater. The risks, if they fail in what they are doing, are greater for them personally and financially. Maybe we should be tilting the balance in the other direction and encouraging self-employed people to take those risks, because the potential gains for the economy and for all of us are great. And we should assure them that the state will be there in case they need it. Protect people if they fail, and let them know that the state to which they seek to contribute will protect them if they fail. At the end of the day, what we're trying to do is use state resources, I suppose, as an insurance guarantee that should they go and take the risk and should they not be successful, that the state, that we will be there for them. The incentive then being, or the intention, that they do go and take that risk and that we all benefit as a result. This legislation is an important step, and I think particularly as well when we consider the increasing number of women starting up businesses, employing themselves and others. I've been fortunate enough, just given some of the work that I've done in the last 3 years, to meet a lot of people, particularly in the technology space, who are starting up new companies. And I've been amazed to see how many are women who wouldn't traditionally come from the technology sector are starting new businesses. But also then when you go to things like other different kind of fairs and expos, the amount of people that you are meeting there who are looking to start up businesses. So in everything that we do as a government, because it is so important to the economy, we should be seeking to use resources of the state as some sort of guarantee in terms of the social protection net to help people, to let them know that it's there, should they not be successful, so that they will take that risk and that we can all then benefit from that risk. As for then the second area I wanted to focus on in relation to pensions, the bill provides for an amendment to the Pensions Act regarding the notification that an authority may make, or the authority may make, to trustees of schemes. But insofar as the wider context in pensions is concerned, I welcome all the efforts that have been coming from the Minister's Department in this regard, and particularly recently we debated the second stage of the bill in relation to double insolvency of pension funds. But there's much more to do. And I've raised this issue on a number of occasions here in the Chamber, and I've also raised it on the Public Accounts Committee, as I know that the Minister present has when he was previously on that committee. The looming pensions crisis is significant. If it were not for the financial disaster that we encountered in the last decade and are still recovering from, it would be the crisis that we'll be discussing in the Chamber today on a regular basis. It cannot be solved overnight, but the work to resolve the situation needs to start today. And it needs to start with some urgency, because it is a long-term problem that we are facing into. Part of the problem, I think, is that the pensions issue covers a number of departments, and I fear that as a result that it may be falling between administrative stools. And there has been some talk from the industry and from some people who are interested in this sector of the need for a Minister of State exclusively committed to the area of pensions in the public sector, the private sector, and the problems that they're both facing, and the problems that we are, as a country, are facing into the next 30 years or more. And I support those calls. And at the moment, we know from the leadership of both parties in coalition that there will be a reshuffle at the executive level. That has been flagged, and that provides an opportunity for new impetus in this area. And it's not about new people. It's about restructuring the executive and finding that new focus on these important areas and these potential crisis flashpoint areas that will arise over the coming decades. And I'd ask the Minister to consider this following on from this piece of legislation. And just as a final point, I do welcome the flagged amendments that will come from the Minister at committee stage to allow the secondment of Gardaí to the Department of Social Protection, and also to allow Irish Water to use PPS numbers. And I support Deputy Kine and Deputy Byrne and Deputy O'Reilly's calls in this regard, to allow the use of that information more widely in the administration of government. Thank you.